Hello there, how are you doing? In this video, I'm sharing my experience with Sigma18-250 f3.5 to 6.3 DC OS Macro HSM. It's a long name, but I'm gonna share my experience with this lens for the last 1 year, what I like about this lens and what I don't like about this lens. Let's start with the 18-250 zoom range first. I'm gonna show you some photographs so you get this idea how far you can reach with this lens. This lens actually gives you a good result if you set your aperture to f8. I have tried many apertures with this lens, but I think f8 is the sweet spot of this lens. So I always use aperture priority mode and I set the aperture to f8, which gives me the best result out of this lens. So if it's an aperture priority mode, the shutter speed will be automatic, and I set auto ISO from 100 to 1600. So that pretty much makes my Canon 600D an automatic kind of camera. Please keep in mind that even though this is an all-rounder lens, this is still a bit heavy when attached to your DSLR camera. This lens is actually a crop sensor lens, so you can only use it with the crop sensor cameras. So if you are planning to upgrade from your crop sensor camera to a full frame camera, I suggest you to check some other lens. This lens is not good for low light or night photography unless you have a tripod, because it doesn't have a wide open aperture like a prime lens like a 1.8 or 2. So always have a tripod with you whenever you do the low light or night photography or macro photography. The autofocus of this lens, even though it's very good in good light, it is not that good in macro mode or in low light situations. So it's better to use manual focus on these situations. Sigma lenses tend to overexpose images a little bit. You can easily correct it by using the exposure compensation dial. You hear this rattling sound from inside the lens. It doesn't give me any problem so far. I think it is the optical stabilization that makes this noise. I'm not quite sure about that one, but it is kind of disturbing, to be honest. And when you look through the viewfinder, sometimes you see this image shifting. I don't know whether the lens is trying to activate the optical stabilization or not, but that is something to consider while you purchase this lens. It's not a big issue, but it is there. This lens will give you a nice bokeh or autofocus background. I'm really happy with the round bokeh background that I get from this lens. The macro function on this lens is very easy to activate and it gives you decent macro shots. This lens's optical stabilization works really well, and I will show you some videos with or without optical stabilization. So this is a great lens for a person who has only used a kit lens and needs just one lens to do almost every kind of photography he likes. If you have ever used a prime lens of wide open aperture like 1.8 50mm Canon or something like that, You may not be happy with the low light or night photography performance of this lens, but all in all, if you don't want to change lenses in between, you just want one lens and you take photos only outside in bright daylight, this is a perfect lens for you to get almost all kinds of photography, may it be wide angle, portrait, telephoto, macro, anything. This lens can do very well in good light. Thanks a lot for watching this video. You have a great day. See you later.